Right, so I'm going to start with you, Ben. Just talk to me about what is going on. Why are you doing this to these monuments? What's going on?
Well, thanks for having me on. I wouldn't call Taylor Swift's private jet a monument, but Just Stop Oil takes these kind of actions because it puts the issue of new oil and gas and the burning of fossil fuels at the top of the political agenda where it should be.
But some people might argue that doing that, it's not really at the top of the political agenda, it was already there. So a lot of people are already talking about it. It's not at the bottom, there's net zero coming through, we've got the political parties all in unison talking about doing it. So what is the point of you doing this? It just tends to isolate you, people get annoyed. OK, so two things here. Before 2022, when Just Stop Oil came on the scene, no one was talking about new oil and gas. It was a non-issue, it was a dead duck. Since Just Stop Oil have launched our campaign, it's been in the headlines consistently. And the second thing is, you said the political parties are all talking about net zero, all talking about climate change. I think some common ground we have here, neither you or I believe that the political parties are making any sense on this. Their plans aren't realistic. They do not actually account for the crisis at hand. And so Just Stop Oil is providing the political leadership that Britain needs. Well, somebody might argue that it doesn't actually make any sense at all what they're talking about, the net zero. Paul Burgess.
Well, I'm a person, by the way, that's been attacked by Just Stop Oil and had one of their activists criminalised. He pleaded guilty to the assaults he made, and he threw a table at us. And, you know, I would like to ask Ben for a start. You wouldn't support that sort of action that caused him to have a year suspended sentence, a fine and a criminal record.
So every action Just Stop Oil has done is non-violent and accountable. I have no idea what you're talking about, and you'd have to explain a lot more.
Tristan Strange is the name. He's in record in Swindon, and he's Stop Oil, and so on. But you wouldn't agree with that sort of...
The group is called Just Stop Oil. To be honest, you have a questionable history.
All right, forget that.
You have a questionable history.
My question is, would you support that sort of thing?
Just Stop Oil has never supported any violent action.
At all?
At all. Right. No violent action.
Okay.
And we've always been accountable.
OK. The problem with next question is your actions to stop the burning of all fossil fuels by 2030? Is that your aim?
Not only the burning, but also the extraction.
The extraction and burning.
And
so we stop the use of all fossil oils
for the government to draw up a legally binding plan to do so and work with international...
And by 2030 have no burning of fossil fuels of any sort.
Correct.
Thank you. Well, the Stonehenge was very appropriate to you then, because that was 5,000 years old, and that's what you'd take us back to. So the clothes you're in, you wouldn't have them.
That's not correct. They didn't have wind turbines, they didn't have solar, they didn't have hydro.
I'm sorry.
I believe that Britain is a strong enough nation, technologically developed, has a great workforce, and we can put together a plan to have clean, renewable energy in the hands of people.
Today we have 4.8% in Britain of all the energy is solar and wind. 4.8%. And that's just part of it. Your clothes aren't just electricity. It's materials and so on. It comes from oil. You wouldn't have your phone. You wouldn't have this studio. You wouldn't have television. You wouldn't have anything if we went back to that.
You play pretty fast and loose with the facts.
No,
but I agree. We can both agree that we're in an oil-based economy. That's why we need...
We are.
That's why we need an emergency plan to move away from that.
But can I just bring you back? You want to get rid of oil and gas completely. What about base low power then? What about that? What will you do with that? Obviously, that is the power that we need all the time, the amount of power that you need constantly to power everything.
Right. So
what do we do about that? Because without oil and gas, which would be the backup for solar and everything else like that, which would stop blackouts and things like that, you need base low power. And it's intermittent with... so what are you going to do about that?
So we could talk all day long about what...
No, I'm asking you that specifically.
I know. We can talk all day long about supporters Just Stop Oil, what they would like our energy generation stats to be. The point is, if we don't make this plan, if we don't put a plan in place by 2030, there is no plan to deal with catastrophic wildfires.
All those are less. All those, the extremes of weather, and except for heat, the IPCC, I've got the document there if you want, and I can tell you the reference to it.
And these are the climate bodies.
The IPCC main climate body.
Forever in at home, Paul's brought in his little...
Oh, no,
these are facts, so he's allowed to do that.
All right, then, everyone...
Just because you
hold on, let him finish.
No, let me just give you some facts.
Go on.
IPCC state, page 1856, the latest AR6 report, table 1212, that no more extreme droughts due to mankind, no more floods due to mankind, no more... I can go on right the way down.
This is the IPCC. I want to bring in Pam Spur. She is a psychologist and social commentator. Pam, what do you make of all these sort of tactics psychologically? Is it working for Just Stop Oil?
As a psychologist, I look at activism at the three levels. There's the passive, that's signing petitions, writing to your MP. Research shows people love to sign petitions even if they only agree 30% with the cause. So always a cause should get their petitions out there. The second level is active. That's where you have contained rallies at places like Trafalgar Square, where they don't march there. Everybody meets there. And on board, disrupt traffic as much.
How your audio is going. We're going to try and sort out your audio, and we'll try and fix that up. We'll try and sort that out, but I want to come back to Paul. Look, this is the thing. Just Stop Oil, a lot of people would potentially agree with the idea of not burning as many fossil fuels, having all the renewables working and everything else like that. But it's the banning of something that is useful that we already have within our own environment that then becomes problematic. And
problematic.
It is problematic, but Ben doesn't seem to acknowledge that.
No, I mean, first of all, we haven't got a base load. The question there was very good. You see, I've just come back from the Isle of Man, where the Isle of Man, that's an independent country, and I went over invited by citizens.
So the Isle of Man is an independent country?
Yes, it is. It's an independent democracy.
Yeah, so anyway, carry on.
Oh, you don't even agree with that, do you? Anyway, I was invited over. I looked at their figures. They've got a wind farm installation planned, and they were 300% wrong. No doubt about it. Black and white, 300% wrong. So
about what? Sorry.
Well, they said they've yield from this 20 megawatts of turbines would they get 85% of the power out the wind.
Yeah.
No one in the world gets. What Scotland gets is 28.4. What Ireland gets about 27. What we get in England is about 26, and they're getting 85. The figures were wrong, and that is what we challenged, and we got a group and a political party probably starting there to stop it. You are living in a dream world if you think you've just denied the IPCC, yet you people...
I have not denied the IPCC. You've misrepresented them.
No,
how have I misrepresented?
I don't think he has, and he wouldn't be allowed to. We'd scrutinise that. He's given you data.
You won't debate.
So you've just thrown away a report from the climate department, the climate group who look after and talk about climate within this country.
I encourage anyone at home, look up IPCC increased flooding. You can make your own mind up.
No, let me explain how that happens.
But no, let me explain. Okay. New oil and gas is an existential threat to the people in this country. It means social collapse. It means wildfires.
It means none of those things.
And crop failure.
Why does it mean that? Sorry, why does it mean that? I'm not seeing why you're saying that. Why does it mean that? I think if you don't have oil and gas, it means those things.
OK, so as groups like the IPCC say, world climate scientist opinion is firmly on side that as we pump more carbon into the atmosphere, the world heats up because of greenhouse gas effect. OK,
so how is you spraying orange on planes and disrupting monuments and spraying on all sorts of things, how is that helping the cause to get people to be on side with that?
So Just Stop Oil comes from a long line, a proud line of non-violent civil resistance.
Doesn't it come from a huge... wasn't it set up by a guy who's an oil baron?
Yes, I mean, behind Stop Oil, they get trained for this.
Sorry,
am I wrong?
You are wrong.
OK, so who set it up? There's no oil baron, there's nobody behind Just Stop Oil who...
No, there's a group of ordinary people who are terrified of what this government has.
Can I just say something else? Last May, recorded as the hottest record, ever in Britain, etc. Sure. Yes. May 1883, from the official Central England temperature record from the Met Office, was 1 degree centigrade warmer than last May. When you actually look at the facts and why the IPCC political body says all this rubbish, they don't agree with their own scientists. And what you've just thrown away is typical. You won't debate the science, you won't debate the facts, and you just want to disrupt people. And I'm telling you now, you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have your mobile phone, you wouldn't have your transport or anything.
He's right, though, isn't he, about that? You wouldn't have all of that if you didn't have the oil and gas that you're talking about now, even the clothes you're wearing.
The chemicals from it alone account for it.
What spouting out is at odds with what 97% of climate scientists
across the world... Oh, no,
I've got
that here.
Sorry.
Let me finish. OK, let me finish now. I've got to go to the news. I do have to...
97% of climate scientists say. And GBNews' own owners have major financial stakes in over 100 oil and gas firms. So it's no surprise that people like Paul
No, hold on. He's nothing to do with GBNews owners. And I'm questioning you neutrally about the behaviour of Just Stop Oil. Nobody's saying that they don't support the fact of cleaning out the environment and trying to make things better. But what we are saying is, why are you chucking orange stuff at monuments and why are you disrupting people who would potentially support you? That is the problem we're having.
It puts the issue in the news. It puts the issue in the news, and new oil and gas equals social collapse. We need an emergency plan.
Not in a good way.
Anyone who wants to join us can go to juststopoil.org.
Why aren't you going to China to do it?
Sign up for action.
Why aren't you going to China to do it?
Because I don't speak Chinese, mate.
Oh, come off it. That's a petty childish excuse.
They would understand it. Listen, if you threw orange, you don't need to speak Chinese to be able to chuck orange at a plane.